Hi, my name is Sarah Nance, and this is my Module 5 presentation on where my high school, Eagle Crest High School, is and where we are going for 2017-2018. I started my presentation off with a graphic that kind of demonstrates where we are. I used a Picto chart, and so I started breaking it down, our school by student data. So I went to our school's dashboard on Colorado Department of Education, since we are in Colorado. And this is just a nice look at the students that we have. In 2015, 2016, we had almost 2,600 students. That number has jumped up to almost 2,900 students this year, so we are a very large school. Our principal has always prided our school on matching the U.S. Census pretty well as far as ethnicity. So we are predominantly white, but we do have a nice breakdown of other ethnicities and races at our school. Our attendance rate is high. We have 94.5% as our last year. The state is the orange mark right there, so we're slightly higher than the state average as well. So to discuss who we are and where we're going, I wanted to talk a little bit about performance on standardized tests. So I made this chart here that reflects ACT scores in the years 2006 all the way up to 2016. So we started pretty low back in 2006. And we've made obviously a concerted effort to increase ACT scores at our school, and so they've slowly been on the rise since 2006, with a little dip in 2009 and again in 2014. We're slightly lower this year than we were last year, but still much better than in years past. So this previous year we were at 21.7 as an average for composite. I also went to CDE again and got some assessment data for our school. So these two tests represent CMAS for math and English. That's our standardized test. And so here's the mean scale score, and our school for English language arts falls just below the mean for the state. Same with math, a little bit more so than the state benchmark. In science, you can see that these are the amount of students who participated. And then we're just a little above the state benchmark for passing in science. The rest of my presentation is going to be talking about how we close the gaps at Eagle Crest and how we plan to close some of our equity gaps. Because we have such a diverse school, we have a huge focus on several different programs that I think will help get our scores even higher than where they are, so we can be more competitive with other schools in the state as well. So to start, we are an AVID demonstration school. So we have 250 AVID students, maybe a little bit more. In 2016, 2017, 100% of our AVID students were successfully accepted into a four-year school. That doesn't mean that they all went to a four-year school, but they had, as part of their program, they have to apply and be accepted, and 100% of them were so. Students obviously practice AVID strategies in each class. They take Cornell notes, they engage in tutorials, and they use their study skills to enhance their educational experience. Teachers at Eagle Crest are taught how to teach with AVID strategies, even to students who aren't in AVID classes, so that we can keep our designation as a demonstration school. And also because it's the skills that those AVID kids have and practice are just really good skills for all students to retain and learn and use. We also have a program sponsored by our library called the Raptor Reading Challenge, and here's a nice graphic of the Raptor Reading Challenge bingo board. In 2014, Eagle Crest High School was awarded the best high school library in the country. Like I said, in 2014. And so, as part of their own goals to increase readership among our 2,900 students, they've created this Raptor Reading Challenge, which is kind of like a bingo board, and each of these categories is a different kind of book. So there's one about sports, there's one from African American authors, one from Asian American authors, one to represent sci-fi, one to represent mystery. And so as the students read those books, they can write in the titles and the authors. And most English classes offer extra credit if students bring completed columns or rows, and more for blackouts. So it's kind of a fun way to kind of bring the school together and increase our love of reading. We also have a very prolific and active college and career center. Part of our school's mission is to prepare each and every student for college success. So we have a whole area of the school designated for all things college. So you see a lot of college banners and college posters hanging up. That's where we have all of our college visits. Recently, we just started a CTE program that is starting at Eagle Crest, but is yet to get off the ground. We also value equity at Eagle Crest, and this is really where we spend a lot of the time trying to close the gaps that we have in our school. So staff members, for example, are asked to join or participate in 2 out of about 10 options that promote equity and inclusive excellence in our very diverse school. One of them is to join in a book study. So last year we did multiplication is for white people. There was an opportunity for horizontal advancement in that as well to add to the incentive. Some other options are to participate in the Raptor Reading Challenge, to attend past meetings, or earn credit in a Beyond Diversity training that is throughout the year. Our PLC work is another way we plan to close the gaps. We have a strong culture of collaboration at EHS designed to increase student achievement. And since 2005, Eagle Crest has come a long way as far as the kind of work we do in our PLCs. In 2005, PLCs were basically non-existent at Eagle Crest, but in 2007, a group of teachers traveled to Adlai Stevenson High School to witness effective PLCs in action. From about 2010 on, our school has really prioritized and thus increased our achievement with PLC, and we've created a fairly inclusive and collaborative and very functioning culture ready to get our students to get to good places. That's not the same as in every district school, high school, or middle school. Eagle Crest is definitely the example that other schools are now trying to follow as far as PLCs. We meet twice weekly in some cases, or once weekly. Teams have the option to choose which one they would like to participate in. Also, how we close the gaps at Eagle Crest is through our tardy and discipline policies. In an effort to keep attendance rates high and truancy rates low, Eagle Crest, we ignited a really comprehensive tardy and discipline policy in 2010, and tardies in every class are reduced by 9,000 in 1 year. So in other words, students have to go to a 30-minute detention if they're tardy to a class, and if they blow that off, they have a full day, they lose an entire study period in detention, and if they blow that off, then they have to serve a full day in detention in which teachers are alerted to the students that are in the detention for full day, and they send work for those students to do while they are serving their detention for a full day. So it decreases the amount of tardies because students don't want to be in that mobile classroom, that detention classroom, for 30 minutes or more if they can't get it together. Finally, I just made a very small graphic or a bar circle graph here to kind of talk about student support teams. We have a lot of things in place at Eagle Crest to help students who are struggling in different areas. So I took 3 of them that are pretty prolific at Eagle Crest. Like I said, AVID, there's about 8% of our students who are enrolled in AVID. We have about 26% of our students are enrolled in a reading and writing class, which is a support class for students who are below proficient in reading and writing. And so they have that alongside their English class, which meets 2 or 3 times a week. Students don't stay in those classes for all 4 years. They can stay up to the reading and writing class for 2 years. There's also a math support class. A lot of students have to take that one. And again, it can sometimes be for 1 year, up to 2 years, for math mastery as well. And then we have a decent amount of students, of course, who are not in a support class. So this is the kind of a brief look at Eagle Crest High School, where we are, where we're going, and what we do every day and in our work to close the gaps in achievement. Thanks so much for watching.